Well, he was known as the Scrambler, the quarterback that simply no one could catch. NFL Hall of Famer, former Minnesota Vikings and New York Giants quarterback Fran Tarkenton is here. But tonight, he's not talking football. It's how to create jobs and fix our educational system. Fran Tarkenton joins us. Good evening, sir.
Greta, how about those Packers? Let's break up the Packers. I think we ought to, level out the playing field here. They're too rich.
I was just telling someone right before it started that I remember when I was a kid, you were like the devil because we couldn't catch you, and then that Johnny Unitas. You and Johnny Unitas were like the two biggest devils in my childhood, picking on us Packers. But anyway, it's nice to see you, Fran. And I understand tonight that you got some ideas on how to get jobs. What can we do about jobs in this country?
Well, I just think that we need to look at the real problems in this country. And I wrote something about the teachers union, And the great thing about the NFL and about sports, it's a union, but there's not guaranteed employment. If you produce and play great, you get rewarded. If you don't, you don't. And in our teacher system, they're captive. We want education to be better, but it goes to our public unions and our private unions where there's no incentive to do better. There's no incentive to perform. And so therefore, our great teachers, we're losing them. And our unions, our public and private unions, they're out of control, and we don't get the performance there because there's no incentive for these good, industrious people to do better if they work hard and productive. And they don't give any trophies for trying. They give trophies for performing, and that's what America was based on. And if we can start doing that and get rid of the entitlements and change the tax system and bring some sanity back and get back to a real democracy and real capitalism, then we can solve problems here and we can provide jobs, and that's what we need to do. There's no silver bullet solutions here. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. These are systemic things that we've got to address, and nobody is, Democrats or Republicans.
How do we get to that point where there is such an enormous incentive to do better? And that, and I read your op-ed piece in which you talked about how you actually compared it sort of being on the gridiron and how, if you can manage to stay 3 or 4 years on a football team doesn't mean that you should stay for, 30 years. There comes a time when you need to go.
We need to rediscover meritocracy. And that's a Jeffersonian principle where we reward production. We have incentives. That's why your grandparents and my grandparents came over here to this country to have hope. And we could do it whether we're entitled or not. We got to get rid of entitlements. We got to get rid of all these tax breaks. We need to reform the tax system. Everybody knows that. And we need to do it, and we need to do it now. 51% of American families do not pay taxes. General Electric, IBM, Verizon have paid no taxes in the last 2 years. That's just flat wrong. Everybody knows we need to do this, and yet nobody's doing anything. We're just going along this path of enabling people to be non-productive and be captive by the system. And the system is not working. We need to get back to basic fundamentals, and that's also the system that makes football work. It makes good teams work. You got to get back to fundamentals. When you get away from your fundamentals, you lose and you get beat. We've gotten away from the fundamentals of what America was all about, and that's where we need to.
We only have a minute. We only have a minute left, but do you see any of that in Washington, any sort of inclination by Washington to sort of get back to the fundamentals as you say them?
I do not. I see nothing but blame the other guy. Let's still blame George Bush, and let's blame the Republicans. Republicans blame the Democrats. Bad news does not get better with age. The signs are there, and the signs are we are really in trouble here in the direction we're going, and we need leadership, Democrats and Republicans, side by side, to go out and fix this and get back to the fundamentals. I see nothing happening there. Now I see in both parties, everybody's running for re-election in 2012. Big deal. How about now? How about solving these problems now? Because if we go this way for much longer, we're in deep trouble.
And some people may say we're already in deep trouble.
Yeah, we already are.
Anyway, Fran, thank you. And let me confess that I do confess that as a child, I did love watching you many of those wonderful Sunday games, even though that, like I said, the Packers could never catch you. But anyway, Fran, nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Greta. Good to be with you.
And now Callista Gingrich. Now, she's been